While the Supreme Court has stripped the military court of its jurisdiction to try civilians, issuing a ruling that mandates all individuals with cases in that court be transferred to civilian courts or face execution without conditions, the authorities have failed to implement this decision.
All ongoing criminal trials or pending trials before the courts martial involving civilians must immediately cease and be transferred. Order, I'm going to chase you out. So I said all charges or ongoing criminal trials or pending trials before the courts martial involving civilians must immediately cease and be transferred to the ordinary courts of law with competent jurisdiction.
Dr. Kiiza Besigye and his colleague Hajji Obeid Lutale, who were arrested in Kenya and repatriated on charges of illegal possession of firearms and treachery, together with their lawyer Eron Kiiza, who was jailed for 9 months for contempt in a military court, were among the beneficiaries, prompting lawyers for the three to appeal to the High Court to order the government to comply with the Supreme Court order. The High Court today launched the process, and at about 9:30 a.m. Besigye, Lutale and Eron were brought to the High Court at Twin Towers, which was full of politicians from various parties, lawyers and supporters amidst heavy security. Upon looking at Besigye, Justice Douglas Singiza was dismayed by his ill appearances, and in a blink of an eye, the judge ordered the court to rest to allow room for consultation with Besigye and Lutale's lawyers.
Back to 2 people. We are going to resolve this. I've told you, Mr. Kamikada told me the law I'm posting around here tomorrow.
However, the government side, represented by Johnson Natwera and Jacqueline Amsuguti, informed the judge before retiring that the Supreme Court had never ordered the release of the prisoners. They argued that if the release were granted as the prosecution requests, it would violate the Supreme Court's order.
Nowhere did the court say release. It only gave an order of transfer. Transfer all the files which are pending before the court martial to courts of civil courts.
When the court was adjourned, Besigye and Lutale were not brought back to court and were instead returned to jail. With the judge's return, Besigye and Lutale's lawyers Eron Kiiza, who was sentenced to 9 months in prison for contempt in the military court, was also brought to face the judge. Eron's lawyers, led by Elias Lukwago, Medad Lubega Segona, Samuel Muyizi Mulindwa, and Escalibal and others, asked Judge Singiza to release all 3 of their prisoners, Besigye, Lutale and Kiiza.
Continued detention, my lord, would be again a further violation, and wouldn't want to see this honorable court acquiescing in the violation of the rights of the accused person. And for one thing I need to emphasize, my lord, there is the 48-hour rule, which is very, very crucial and imperative under the Bill of Rights. So you can only curtail one's liberty within that period of only 48 hours.
We had a detention which is unlimited in duration, was under the Public Safety Act. And that one collapsed with the coming into force of our constitutional regime.
Prosecutors in the case say the Prosecutor General cannot jump cases out of the military court without being investigated by the police.
I cannot mention how many files are involved, but they are numerous. And the process of expediting the process is on course, and that's why the principal judge was allocated this responsibility.
The judge, after hearing all this, said he would give his verdict by the 25th of this month. However, the lawyers insisted on giving them an exact date, which the judge didn't do. What remains to be seen is whether the 3 will be released by the court or whether it will issue another order. The 3, Besigye, Lutale and Kiiza, are not the only ones who have been charged and sentenced in the military court. John Baptista Humza, Church of Uganda, Family TV News at 8.